Welcome to today's episode of Lama Drives. It has been a long time between Lama Drives. This used to be our semi-regular catch-up session of everything behind. That's Maxwell clicking in the back. I do a clap before I start the audio to sync everything up. Max likes to click back, so that's it. Anyhow, this used to be our semi-regular catch-up show. We haven't driven anywhere for how long?
Months.
Ever. We're now driving somewhere again, so welcome along. First of all, Von, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm so excited to leave the house.
I get my regular Google Maps where you've been for the month summary, the last 2 months, around the lake from home, which is 3 kilometres as the crow flies, and Learmonth, which is just over the back here.
Part of your regular cycle loop.
Which is the loop that I've been riding. That's as far as I've travelled. Maxwell, how you doing, buddy? You good? Say g'day to everyone. Yeah? And Max says g'day. And will be joining us for the next 18 years. Today's topic list includes, just a general catch-up of what we've been up to, IQSquare Power Meter, a bit of behind the scenes with that and where things were at, the Rotor INSpider, just a little, a follow-up for a lot of videos that I've done in the last couple of weeks. Stages Bike, Grand Theft Auto Mod, we talk about the Rapha Women's 100, cycling events that are coming up, and just general chit-chat about whatever pops up, hopefully not in front of us on the road.
Yeah.
First up, thank you to all the members of the channel. The GPLama YouTube channel has memberships now, not just subscribers. So we have thumbs ups, which is helps boost a video. We have subscribers that help with the views, and we have members who help contribute to the channel and everything just ticking along.
Yeah.
So much appreciated. You'll note members in the comments with a little llama icon next to their name every time they comment. Von's a member. I think you're one of the founding members.
That's right. I have the most multicolored llamas because the colors of the llamas change the longer that you're a member.
Yeah.
As well.
I think the oldest llama is a grey llama. No, I think it's red. I'm not quite sure on the colouring. I've set the colours, but they don't mean much. They just change colour as you age as a member of the channel. Anyhow, that's how to financially support what I'm up to. A lot of people ask, how can I help support what you do? I have Amazon affiliates, but they're very small, limited to the US. That memberships of the channel are how you can help support everything every day, which is kind of handy. 3 levels of membership. The middle one is what you want.
Top one. Top
one is Lama Pro. You get nothing more than being Lama Pro than contributing a bit more. I made it pretty fair and even. That's about it. Team Lama and above will get a little bit of insight behind the scenes. They got some IQSquare data before I'd finished that video, and just a little bit behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
That's nice to have every now and then. If you're right into the stuff. If you're not into it, that's fine. That's totally cool. Just watch the videos. Even if you're not a subscriber, that's cool. As long as you're watching, keeps the wheels ticking over.
That helps, yeah.
Absolutely. So Von, you've been well. Let's do a quick summary of looking after this little guy.
Quick summary: eat, sleep, play, repeat. Yeah.
Someone's happy with that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you've been back on the bike a little bit. You're coming back into form.
Oh yeah. Not into form at all.
But you have got some group rides going using meetups, using video. Are you using Zoom or Microsoft Meetings? What are you using for the catch-ups with the girls?
It's called Microsoft Teams, but we're actually using Zoom for the Rapha Women's rides that we're doing weekly. So that has been a lot of fun and a great way to re-engage with my riders that I would ride with in Melbourne back in the day. So it's one little silver lining in the COVID cloud. I have to say has been really good. So that's been great. I also this week got to wear my new Rapha top in the Zoom call, and it was a great way to share the fact that we had some new kit day. Didn't get to wear it outside because I think now that it's pretty much turning to winter here, I'm not going to get to wear summer gear for quite some time.
The mornings are very, very frosty. I'll put up a photo here of my walk to the coffee shop the other day. Once the sun's up, it's not too bad, and I'm dressing for it with the neck warmer, head warmer, gloves, toe warmers, shoe cover,
Not to the coffee shop. That's
I
for
should.
your rides.
I should. This is for my rides. Yeah. Look, speaking of the COVID stuff, I have an update from Elite on production, because one of the things with smart trainers is they were all sold out everywhere. You could not get a smart trainer anywhere after the first few weeks of COVID. Now, I've touched base with Elite. They've let me know here they ended lockdown in May the 3rd, and Elite were one of the first ones to... Maxwell's going to interrupt our conversation today. Well, one of the first companies to be affected heavily by this, being in northern Italy. So as of May the 3rd, they're back into full production. They've been fully operational for 6 weeks now. Whilst in lockdown, we decided to invest in new manufacturing and QC equipment and added more staff to meet the more demands on the trainers. There's an upside there. And next week, we see the first benefits in the daily production capacity increasing. So their output of what they've been up to for the last 6 weeks there in Elite, so things are looking good. I'm assuming it's the same with all other companies as well. They'll be still slowly ramping up, and access to resources is returning. But there's some first-hand news from Elite there. So Suto, Diretto X, Drivo 2, I think are the main ones there.
Right.
Plus a few of the older wheel-on models, or the cheaper wheel-on models. Maxwell, mate. Yeah, you want a front seat to this show? Or you want a back seat? Well, by law, you've got to stay in the back seat. Funnily enough, Elites, they saw the bottles decline, demand for drink bottles. Obviously, you're indoors, that's now ramping up again because people are going outdoors. So,
yeah, and I guess it's coming into Euro summer soon, so that's good for them.
Yep, so business returning to normal, and hopefully we'll see that return to normal across the board with all the other companies and these smart bikes, which we'll talk about in a minute. Just quickly, I'm not quite sure if this video will be produced tonight. Just before we were jumping in the car, my laptop decided to have more caffeine than I did. And for the first time in many years, well, ever that I can remember, I've dumped a coffee on top of my laptop. Von heard it. Here's the picture. Now that was after I'd freaked out, disconnected everything, powered it down, spun it upside down. It's now currently in a bag underneath me, upside down, hoping the coffee will drain out. That might have been my $4,500 coffee.
Yep.
It was a good laptop.
RIP, I think. But
I may be
fingers crossed.
I may be producing videos back in HD, not 4K for a while. Such is life. Anyhow, we'll see if that returns to normal. It's still turned on. It still wanted to turn on, but I wanted to turn it off because it releases the magic smoke if you try and keep using things like that. Yeah, Maxwell. Okay, so this week, the surprise package, IQSquare.
Yes.
They delivered.
They delivered.
They
It's been installed. You've managed to get the genie out of the bottle. Is that another magic smoke reference?
I don't know. It was, look, as I said in my video on the IQSquared Power Meter pedal, single-sided pedal, although they do include 2 pedals, which is handy. No cleats though. No. Don't worry, Von knows how angry I was with no cleats. The story about the company and it unfolding and delays and change and angry customers and...
I think I saw it on a soap opera once.
On a what, sorry?
Soap opera.
Oh yeah, this is Days of Our Lives, is that what they have in the States as well? This is... I'm not sure whether it's an interesting story or it just is how it is. I don't think they're deceiving anyone. I think that they've lied to anyone. I think they just keep hitting delays. Power meters are hard. Power meters are very hard.
Yes, as we've seen across the board.
Across the board.
From all companies.
Except for what, Favero and Quark or something like that. Yeah, there's 2 that I rely on.
Well, there's power meters inside trainers as well, right? So, yeah, there's a lot of power meters out there.
Though... Yeah, however, having said that, and if you got to the conclusion of the video, which took a while, they've made a cheap and accurate power meter based on the data that I have. And that's everything. Everything that I can make a conclusion on is what I've got access to. And that is that one pedal, and it was cheap.
And it worked.
There we go.
And you could clip in.
There we go. It worked as a pedal. So kudos to them. And the questions were always going to be raised. Well, what about the dual-sided? We don't know. Well, what about the mountain bike side? I don't know. What about if you strike a pedal on a corner? Well, I don't know. I wasn't going to go out and take a fall for a cheap power meter. My health insurance probably won't cover that. However, let's just see how they go. Their response after my video took a few days. I don't think they'll be using my video in any promos or any quotes. I think the takeaway or notable quote is, look, there's nothing technically special about that pedal whatsoever. They're not going to be using that in any media. I don't expect to see my face on their website anytime soon. That's not how I operate. I don't give a shit any of that. What I do as an end consumer, did it work? Yes or no? That's it. And if I opened up a product and I couldn't use it because there was no cleats, am I angry at that? Yeah. I had to buy cleats for it. Anyhow, but surprise, surprise. In summary though, it's heavier, it's harder to install, and it doesn't do anything special. It's a power meter.
Yeah.
But
they did deliver.
Above all else, it exists, it's accurate. The one I had was accurate, and it's cheap. And I think people will choose that above all else. On the flip side of that, Rotor INSpider, a lot more expensive, and
complex.
And look, the Rotor INSpider isn't going to get as many views or as much attention as a pedal-based power meter. A pedal anybody can install, very easy. It's compatible with all bikes. The Rotor power meter is only compatible with their modular cranksets.
Yes.
Is it the Vegas or Vegast and the Aldu modular crankset? You've got to get their crankset, so that's limited as it is. Look, I couldn't explain what goes on. I'm currently in discussions with Rotor on that, about the data that I was seeing. The facts being, first of all, they said they can't explain what I was seeing. So I was seeing it just drift by 10 watts and then come back in, and then drift and then come back in. And this wasn't just a simple, oh, he's out of the saddle for 5 seconds. It reads a little different. Or the start and stop was a bit different because of the two head units using. No, this was a consistent, I'm pedaling in a straight line, same gear, same everything, all the variables put aside. It was going off and coming back, or going off until I stopped pedaling. It was unexplained. The fact being is the data that I presented was exactly what I was seeing out on the road. And I did 30 hours of actual on-bike time trying to solve it, couldn't solve it, balls in their court. They state they haven't seen what I'm seeing, and they said they can't explain what I'm seeing.
Okay.
So at this point in time, where we're at with Rotor is that I've asked them for what's their testing protocol.
Yeah.
What's the equipment they use to test it to prove that the power meter is accurate?
Yeah, I guess another thing is they could either ship you another one, you can ship that back
Correct.
to see if you're seeing it across units.
Is it just one that's wonky? Is it just how things are?
Using your protocol or
Correct.
whatever?
Yep.
Or
maybe they want to ship one with the rings already installed,
Yeah.
even though I talk them down and I re-talk them and I check them and I do some sprints and then I've got the process down pat pretty well, but I want to give them every opportunity for them to prove that that power meter is as accurate as it says it is. Look, with no horse in the game for power meters, I don't sell them. So all I want to do is check is what's stamped on the box, what the experience is out on the road, not in the lab, not in a perfect environment on a dyno, not in, I want to just do what the average person will do. They'll purchase the unit, they'll go out and ride, are the numbers accurate? Exactly. And some of the times it makes me cry.
Yeah.
So the ball's in their court. I've done 30 hours of testing, that's on-bike testing, plus more than that behind the scenes, analysing everything going. So door is still open, keep an eye on the pinned post.
On the YouTube video.
On the YouTube video of that one. So having said all that, I think it is the best looking power meter ever. Those Shimano rings?
You are such a sucker for Durace.
Oh, not the cranks. Well, the cranks without the power, yes. I love the look of Durace stuff. Exactly, it makes me happy. So to have a power meter with the Durace rings on there looks so good, so good. Other equipment, the Stages bike. Yes, Max.
Yeah.
Max loves the bikes. He's always in the room playing with those while sitting on them next to me. Took 6 weeks for them to get the firmware delivered that does the gear configuration and you being able to monitor what gear you're in on the phone.
Yep.
That was released yesterday. It's the weekend. I wasn't going to have a look at it. I'm inquisitive. I jumped on this morning and did 50 minutes on it and provided a ton of feedback over on the Stages Bike forum.
It's good that they did it.
I can't say anything bad about it. Okay, fundamentally, just like with the IQSquared, is it accurate for what I was doing? Yeah, it was. Case closed. The Stages bike, does it feel good to ride? Yeah, it does. Case kind of closed. It's all the little things that go around it, all the things. Now, by all the things, There's a little bit of polish, and most of it is just firmware, software, things like that. So viewing the gears on the bike and where you're at on the gears, you put the little phone on the little front thing. You've got to go to.
It's got that really nice little phone pad.
The first thing I ripped off and didn't install.
Yeah, no, it's actually really
Actually, sorry, the little phone pad has, yes. The tablet holder on it is what I took off. I'll put that back on for another video. But the phone holder is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like right there, it's grippy, it sits there, you can charge it at the same, that's spot on. However, to view the gear that you're in on the Stages bike, you've got to go the utility app, device manager, and then down a menu hole just to go to the head unit mode.
Okay.
And there's a few things in there that, if you're a member of the Stages bike user group over on Facebook, my whole list of things that, like, hey guys, can you maybe do this, this, and this, and this? And yeah, I'm one of those customers who thinks he knows best. But just a few ways to polish it. For example, the Dream Drive.
What is a Dream Drive?
Which is super cool. So with these virtual bikes, they've got virtual gearing. And in theory, and now in practice on the Stages bike, you can have 50 gears in one. Just think of one massive cog at the back that has a group of cogs.
You mean like
cassette.
a spin bike?
Like a spin bike with infinite resistance. Well, see, Stages come from a spin bike background. Max knows all about it. So they've got this thing called Dream Drive, which is up to 50 gears. Oh, you can configure 25 or whatever you like, but 50 gears and this one massive cassette on the back. And the change buttons then become one gear changes, like that, or configurable however many you want to jump.
Okay.
So if I want to jump 5, I can configure this button to do 5 jumps and this button to do 1.
Okay.
So if you want to slam
increment
down,
or jump up.
Now the terminology they use to the way I got my head around the terminology they used was they called the gear change that jumped gears, they called it the big ring. And they called the small one the little ring, or the front and then the rear. But we're talking about the same cassette. Now technically the Stages bike doesn't have a rear. It's all on the front anyway. so we're reversed. So my suggestion was you need to, so they've used
Dream Drive.
They've invented something new,
Yeah.
and then retrofitted terminology to it, which does not make sense.
Yeah.
So I've said, hey, maybe call that gear change jump, and call that one shift or step. Jump, step.
Jump and step.
Jump and step.
I like that. Yep. That's logical.
Maybe hop, skip, and jump. We put a third button in there that you can just hit with your head. Hop, skip, jump.
Skip up, skip down.
Yeah.
Skip easy, skip hard.
I think that's valid. Also, there's a few little things with the app that I'm sure they'll fix. The phone kept going to sleep.
Oh, I hate that.
You can't, it's a status screen. Don't go to sleep, phone. Don't go to sleep on.
Yeah. The Zwift companion app used to do that early on. Yeah.
Another one was when you are connected to Zwift via Ant Plus and the bike via Bluetooth on the phone here, it still said you're in sim mode on the control screen, but it was on erg mode on Zwift, so there was no interaction between what mode the bike was in. And at one point it got confused, and you saw it. You walked into the room when I was in erg mode. All of a sudden, bang! It let go and went back to sim mode because the Bluetooth control with the app took control over the app.
Yeah.
There's also a limitation that I wish wasn't there. There's only one Bluetooth connection to the bike at this point. So if you want to look at the gears you're in and do the configuration of the bike, you can't connect to the bike via Apple TV or iPhone or iPad. Dual Bluetooth does exist. It will exist soon. Bit of a miss there early on though. One cool thing though is to change the gears is super fast in the profile. So if you want to go from Dream Drive to your own custom setup, like bang, instant bang, change it straight away.
Cool.
Just like we were reconfiguring the kicker bike in real time. You were going up to Zwift and you didn't like the gearing, so I've connected to it, changed your gears for you, gave you an extra gear so you had Shimano 12 speed, and then you changed to the extra gear. You can do that straight away. There's a few things with the Stages bike that needs polishing. I think it just feels a little beta, and I hate saying this. We're 2020, nearly halfway through. Actually, we are halfway through 2020, and we're still talking about technology being released that's just half-baked. My list that I submitted through this morning was almost hey, I was part of the user test pool. Here's something to consider 6 months before release. Ugh. That's where we are though. I don't like that because I keep telling people, go bleeding edge with firmware, upgrade to the newest, get the latest stuff, it's always the best.
Well, in this case, it sounds like they released the bike before they had everything ready to rock and roll.
I think they were too early. I think that. Look, again, the ride feel of the bike, people are loving the bike. It is sturdy, it is solid, and it may be the next update. All of what I'm saying now could be completely irrelevant. But the fact that if you went and bought that for, I think they're $5,000 Australian.
And they're shipping now.
Yeah. But you've got to get ahead of the curve too. Again, the COVID curve, because people are purchasing now. People can't buy trainers. As soon as trainers are back and are cheaper, people will buy those instead. So it might have been a business decision to get that thing out there.
Yeah, I did see on a post from Peloton today that they're 6 to 11 weeks in the US shipping delays. Yeah.
Oh, did you say Peloton? Sorry, I cut out there. I didn't. So that's where we're at with that. The Grand Theft Auto mod. What a lull. What a complete lull that was. Graphics wise,
I haven't played Grand Theft Auto pretty much since I was a teen, so it was great to see it. It was great to see it back again, and you know, to get reacquainted is my point. And then to see the bike mod for it was just such a surprise, and I rode it as well.
Yeah, Von.
One of the first rides.
Von rode it before I did. So I was doing the gun firing and shooting and steering, and Von was just riding. So Von rode it before I did. And then the enhanced graphics mod that I've put on for Redux.
It must make it look even better than before, yeah.
It looks just so good. However, and I've said it elsewhere, a quick mod and shiny graphics do not make a training platform at all. There's so much more to it than just that. But it is brilliant. It's gone quiet recently. I think it's because the initial hype was there, of course. And you did it in an AT plus FEC controllable trainer, which limits the addressable market. You need the developer, I believe, is working on a version that will work with just power meters. Switching his model from the trainer control and trainer flywheel speed over to the same model that Zwift uses, which a few people have criticised Zwift for using, and it's a whole other story, but there's reasons. But they'll be switching to a version with that soon, I believe, which means that more people can use it.
Yeah.
But you've really got to have that up and down. The fact that it does up and down the hills in freeride.
I really want to try some of the trails.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
it's got me interested in exploring.
Yeah.
I can't see it as a training platform at all.
But as I've said in my video, I think this is the best beta test for Zwift that Zwift never has to pay for.
What do you mean by that?
For freeride? Zwift obviously has freeride. They've got steering. Down the mountain bike, it just has to be enabled.
Okay.
So this enables them to look at people's reaction, usage, how the community grows and builds, and discusses, I guess, freeride, how they're using freeride, and also course creation. Even though course creation is super hard to get it done, you can't just plot a course and away you go. That's something Zwift could have, for sure. I mean, you could log into a website and say, okay, I want to visit EpicCom, Hank's Garage, and this place here, or maybe I want to ride out to the top of the Alpe d'Huez Zwift and then just do loops around the top of that. The top of Alpe d'Huez Zwift will be a great crit course. There's a circle there. Why not hold crits at altitude?
Yeah.
So the course creation on Grand Theft Auto could be something they look at, but just it's good to see people having fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm keen to see what new versions of that mod comes out. So the updates to that have been, you can enter your own user weight in that now, because your user weight affects your trainer and your trainer simulation of gradients. What else was there?
So it's still only offline single player mode, right?
Correct,
so
yes.
You can't get on there with your mates. And
not on this mod, no. There is a few hacks that people are working on for private servers, but you're really going down the rabbit hole of, okay, I've got to mod this, I've got to connect to a private server and an IP and a port. It's almost like an old IRC server. You know, spin up your own IRC server.
Did you want to play Quake?
Yeah, on Oz.org, yeah. Where hashtags were rooms, not hashtags. So good to see that. What else is going on? Sigeyi Power Meter Testing, still in progress.
So that's Spider?
Spider-based.
Yep.
So another Spider. I've done the XKD. Looking back at the XKD, I look back at previous power meters and think, damn, that worked a lot better than what I thought it did at the time, or even, a lot better than what I've currently got on my hands.
Well, I guess you've got more to compare against now.
Exactly, but I go back to the old Quark versus Faveros, and that data is like that. There's a few instances where I'll be out of the behind the scenes story, someone pointed out that, hey, this data's crap because here, this little 5-second section there, and I've scrolled down, I'm like, yep, that's where I was out of the saddle, the gear drops down, the speed drops down, and yeah, until the 2 power meters agreed to get anything stabilized, it was out a little bit. So these things happen. But other than that, those power meters just spot on. And the ones I'm seeing now, there's just some drifting going on, which I can't accept.
You got drift.
Sigeyi, perfect for the first half hour. Drifting, I think it might be doing something with a weird floating offset.
Could be.
There was some weird happenings with Auto Zero on it. Look, it's a very similar story to the XKD. The XKD was just calibrated low, and it kept low the whole way. So you look at the mean max power, and it's always off by a certain amount, like the whole way. And you're like, oh, just bump it, and there we go. They match. You do a static weight test on one of those to verify that it's good for the static test, and you're closer to the truth. Power meters that match and then don't and then come back, I don't know. I just don't know. Anyway.
Guess what? You know when you go on a car trip and you remember something you left at home?
Like your toothbrush?
Yeah, this time it's my riding sunnies, so I'm going to be riding in these.
Hell yeah. I'm just looking for other sunnies we may have. No. Oh. Okay, you've only got another pair of those.
Ray-Bans.
Ray-Bans. Oh, Bubba's asleep.
Yeah. I assumed that when the chirping stopped that we were
It was out?
in luck. Yeah.
Good job. 10 months is the answer there. 10 months?
Yep.
13th. Yeah, it
Tomorrow.
actually is. Tomorrow's 10 months. Good stuff. He's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Other than that, Rapha Women's 100 that hasn't been cancelled. So the real 100, they're not doing it virtual?
Yeah, they're still not doing it virtually. We'll see what they come up with. As it is a worldwide thing, it will depend on what the state is of COVID. But I think at this point in time, they'll probably do groups of 20 or so. Mm-hmm. We're hoping it will still go ahead. There's been some great route suggestions.
Melbourne or out of Melbourne?
Out of Melbourne, yep. So we'll see. We'll see what they come up with. I'd love to attend. Last year I was a few weeks out of hospital, so last year was a no-go, but lots of FOMO.
After Max that was, weren't you?
Yes, because it was soon after. So yeah, really looking forward to it. So that's another reason to keep on the bike, keep training.
Yep.
At this point in time, it's probably been more than a year since I've done 100 kilometres.
Last 100 I did was on Zwift. Yeah, I can't. Even the Fiona Eastleigh ride in Ballarat, it was a horrible day. I pulled the pin and did 80.
Yeah.
That was a horrible ride.
Yeah. So
A great ride, but horrible conditions.
Yeah, but that's another good thing to stay motivated for. Yeah.
Speaking of motivation and cycling, August, is it August the calendar or September it all starts? I think, let's go with September it all kicks off. Yeah, they keep change. Thanks, UCI. Keep confirming that calendar for us.
I think I saw, one of the meme sites with
the skeptical kid going, Yeah, it's like, you keep confirming that calendar. The rest of us are like, right. Yeah.
So if you can put that photo up, that'd be good too.
Let's say everything does work out though.
Yes.
It's going to be nuts. If they have the spring classics in our spring, hey, real spring here.
Yeah.
And then the tour later in the year. Now we had some wild weather. Was it the Tour or the Giro that had that wild weather that was just to shut everything down? And I'm like, keep riding through it. And then everyone's like, you're crazy. Have you seen the roads? I'm like, oh yeah, okay, now I've seen the roads. Yes, that was a little bit ambitious. But
they could rejig the route to have more.
God, imagine the logistics. I mean, the logistics of everything anyway being rescheduled is just completely nuts.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be full gas.
Well, make an Everest one stage or something. You just one thing up and down.
We're gonna put a witch's hat at the top of Alpe d'Huez. And one at the bottom.
Snow. They can't do it.
We're gonna do it anyway. Change bikes halfway up, and you're just gonna do laps. And the first one to Everest wins. And then you get some guy doing it only halfway, so he tries to optimize the ups and downs and the rests. There you go. Have an Everesting stage of the tour. It's not about distance or time. It's about elevation and playing the math around the. Or you give them within 100 kilometers of this town here, like Bormio, and you can go to the Motorola or the Stelvio or the Gavia or the other climbs around there. It's like, First one to get that elevation, but the finish line is also that elevation. So even if you're a sprinter, you have to go on Everest that day. Time cutoff can be a little bit. Oh, that's just...
Yeah.
No, sorry. We cannot think outside the square or progressive in any way when it comes to cycling.
That's
Hell
correct.
no. If your bike doesn't look like a 3 triangles, you are not allowed. If your tubes are too thin, get out.
Wait, what did you also put up a picture this week about the new gearing, about bikes in 2020?
SRAM recently came out with a wider group set or a wider gearing set on there. There's SRAM have mountain bike, obviously. They have gravel now. Now they have gravel. They've got road, and the gearing ratios are spreading. So anybody can choose, like if you can just think of a gear, pretty much like Dream Drive, kind of, and you can configure it. So there's this massive spread of gears.
Okay.
You can ride up any gradient, any terrain. If you want to ride up a wall, there's gearing for that. They came up with a new not chain ring. Well, it actually is it's bigger than a chain ring. It's a rear cog that's now 52 teeth. Or is it 53? I think it's 52. Either way, it's bigger than 50. Now the gravel bike that I had, Grail,
Yeah.
had
Front Canyon, yeah.
had the big 50 on the back. This is bigger again by 2 teeth. That's a front chain ring, I'm sorry. So the picture that I did the other day, a little bit of a meme type photo. Well, meme-y as in meme-ish. That's not how you say the word meme. Some people say the word meme for meme. Meme. I put this photo up indicating that where bikes were prior to this year, that looks pretty normal, and then it switched over to this, which just reversed the chain ring on the back and the cog on the front. Does need a saddlebag though on the, a frame bag.
Frame bag or a handlebar bag.
Frame bag, a handbag. Somebody even said, Shane, I know that's a 2D shot from the side, but I think those bars aren't wide enough. You need to get some warmers for it from Curve.
Love it.
One upside of I can't really say it's an upside of the COVID stuff, the cycling meme pages have gone nuts lately.
Oh.
They've had a lot of fun.
So much fun.
When there's no cycling to make, when Buani isn't punching people in the head, what do you make fun of?
I don't know. We'll have to make frisbees out of our wheels and then have more fun.
But anyway, so that's been quite fun. And I think they've been embraced for what they are. No one's taking those meme sites too seriously. No one's getting too angry. We all need a bit of lightheartedness. And yeah, they're providing in spades.
Yeah, that's good.
So thanks to the guys behind the meme accounts. And they're not attacking anyone. I mean, there's a tradition there or a trend of attacking someone or making a meme. I said Buani bashing people, but hey, I'm not. Buani bashes people. Kidding. He's known to be quite aggressive. So they're not really targeting anyone or being too silly with all that. So keeping it nice and keeping it humorous. Vaughn, anything else to cover off? It's actually going to be a short one today.
Well, we might have to get a gravel bike because I've ordered one of those Tula Chariot things for Maxie. Shh, he's sleeping.
Okay, so that's a little trailer?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay, so since you've ordered it, I need to know more about it now. Does it hook onto your seat post or the rear stays or the rear axle?
It's on the rear axle.
Is it through axle support?
Yes, you can have multiple axles. So
Okay,
one of them
right.
is through axle.
Okay, cool. So, and can we use a carbon bike or we can't use a carbon bike?
Yes, because it's through the through axle.
There we go.
Yes. So I did look into what the options were.
That'll be a police car right there.
It's fine, I'm doing the right
I know, but I'm just saying.
speed. Yes, I looked into what the options were for on-bike carriers for carbon bikes, and it's just
No.
I didn't like the option, so I wanted to go more for the trailer style.
Yep.
And they recommend going only up to a certain speed using these trailers. So Grav Dog bike could be a good option as well.
So no comms with Max in the back?
Well, I wouldn't do a descent with them.
Oh,
in the
uphill
back.
comms.
Yeah, because how are you going to get down?
No, I mean, you said that there's speed limits. So, I mean, speed limit uphill comm can be quite slow, but then there's the weight issue here. Oh, man.
Yeah, so if it's, well, have a think about what it would be like towing a little chicken that we've got here. What is he? What, 10 11
12 kilos now, yeah.
Yeah, and then plus the chariot itself, which would be maybe, what, 20?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Another 10 kilos? let's
Real
say.
idea. We'll have to ask Russell Crowe.
Why is that?
Wasn't he
Chariot.
in the chariot in Gladiator?
Gladiator.
There we go.
Oh, well, maybe we'll kit him up in Gladiator
Oh,
costume.
you can stand there with whatever those...
The horse.
Get him a shield, and he can just around the lake just shield some swans out of the way. Get him a suit of armour.
Yeah.
Go out to Cryle Castle.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
We're gonna have
joust.
to get him his first helmet.
Oh,
Yeah. So
it'll be
anyway,
adult size. The kid's got a huge head.
we'll have to look into some different trails
Yeah.
to take him out and about out of the traffic.
Yeah, the Skipton rail trail's right near home.
Yeah. And we've got that other gravel road that runs parallel to the main road as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
So that keeps him out of the traffic. And,
So we might, so at the Ballarat Nationals, we might be able to take Maxie out and go
Oh,
up and
yeah.
down the hill.
Yeah, he can start selling drinks for us.
Oh, entrepreneurial Maxwell. All right. Even better, you can hold the camera for me. You can vlog the whole day. He does the vlogs. I do the tech
What
stuff.
are you talking about?
Dumb.
You just mount it
Gotta
on
put him to work.
mount it on the chariot.
Mounted on his head, so he can. I need a stabilization. So
Baby
it's-
cam.
Yeah. It's like a chicken where you hold the chicken. Have you seen the chicken do a stabilization thing? They're brilliant. So cheap. So tasty. When you're done for working for the day.
So not vegan.
Get the protein.
What else is news? So when are they having the Tour de France? Did you say later this year? They're still going to have it at this stage.
Well, according to the, who knows, September, I believe. I think it starts in the last couple of days of August.
Okay, so they're still going to have it at this stage. Okay.
Yes. But Zwift are holding a Tour de France on Zwift.
Ah,
They
is that
annou-
with the Spice Girls?
Okay. We cannot diss the Spice Girls. Big fan, always been a fan. If you want to be my lover, cannot diss the Spice. Making loves forever. Spice Girl hate never starts in this car.
Yeah, all right.
My tunes don't even work, do they?
No.
So I thought, come on now. Now, Zwift, if you want to get have more credibility, you've just announced the Tour de France. I call the Tour de France, just sideshow. That's what it is. They're going to have a couple of races over the weekend and do a virtual. That's great, cool. All for it.
Wait. So, is it actually going to be a month long?
No.
Or is it just a couple of...
Couple of courses, a couple of stages on each
Okay.
weekend that the tour is going to be on anyway.
Okay.
Look, it's something for us to watch at least.
Yeah.
It's just, we want to be entertained.
I just needed to define it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I hadn't seen the full announcement.
Now, on the same day it was announced, it comes out that Chris Froome will be racing Mel C on Zwift. And I'm like, what the hell?
Sporty Spice gets on the
Really?
bike.
Sporty Spice? Racing Froomey? Doesn't get any British than that, does it? God, come on. However, I was proven so wrong. That was one of the most entertaining and engaging rides or races they've had on Zwift for a since Vegas back in 2017, CBR World Cup. No, it worked really well. I think they're finding the groove of being an entertainment company. The one questionable part of the Zwift's identity, are they a training company? Are they a gaming company? Are they an events company? Are they an entertainment company? Or are they one of everything and no one's quite sure? There's a bit of an identity crisis there. And if you're an entertainment company, how do you make people sweating in one spot entertaining? And I think they're finding that formula.
Okay.
Might be with a Spice Girl racing Froomey in a handicap race, or they're called cat and mouse. I don't think we'll be able to call them handicap races for much longer.
No.
That'll offend somebody. And like, if the words have to change, fair enough. In Australia, we've always known them as handicap racing.
Yeah.
Given that
Like horse racing handicap.
there you go.
Yeah.
They do it for running races too.
Yeah.
It just
So they...
it gives people a handicap, but I'm guessing that word will change soon. Anyway, cat and mouse. Mel C was the mouse. Froomey's the cat. Cat won, but it was actually kind of handy.
That's cool.
Interesting to see what they do with the Tour de France. I don't think they could just repaint Watopia and call it France. They're going to have to.
They're going to have to go up Alpe d'Huez, right?
Was the Alpe d'Huez was Alpe d'Huez part of this year's tour?
I don't know.
Good synergy there if it was.
Yeah.
If not, for God love of all new roads, Zwift, can we please have some new roads? I think people.
Well, they should do like the course for Prudential Ride London. That's like 100 and something Ks, right? 160.
As long as they extend it out, like give us some new roads. So I'm all for them having some entertaining content for us to watch. Yay, Froomey's racing. Yay, Rowan Dennis is going to win it. He's a monster. That's how it's going to roll.
Yeah.
How does that change the experience for the paying customer?
Well,
Because you can.
No, this is where you're getting confused between it being entertainment or being
No,
training.
I want, as a subscriber, I want my monthly subscription fee to go towards enhancing my value. Because let's just say you don't pay for Zwift, you can still be entertained by the show they're putting on.
Correct.
Yes, I'm paying for Zwift, yet my experience isn't being enhanced at all by watching this virtual Tour de France. See what I mean?
You might be being entertained though.
I may be, but my money towards the environment that I'm, the company, I want my money to go
to view.
Maybe you should pay. I'm already paying to view. Maybe you should. I mean, we're both got accounts, doesn't it? So the inequality there of where the money go, and I think that's becoming more and more of a discussion point recently with Zwift. There's a few updates that have broken things. There's a few people want new roads. I think because we were conditioned early on for updates every couple of weeks.
We would have had the Olympic roads.
Good point. Good point.
Gone
Okay,
ahead.
that's
so. Yep. My opinion was they should have released it anyway.
No.
I know you don't agree, but in my opinion, I think
it would have been like running in an old shoe, like when it came out.
Fine,
no one wants to run in an old shoe.
What are you talking about? Everyone will know it so well, and then they'll be like, "Oh, they're going to attack now! Go, 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 go!"
Yeah, but okay. Imagine if someone went back to Richmond now. You'd be like, "Jeez, really?" No, it needs to be fresh and fun. Here's what they need to do: Bologna. They need to put a back road in Bologna. So open that course up for everyone, so you can just go for a ride up that steep Harness Hill and then come back down and just expand that out a little bit. That was with the Giro though, so there's probably licensing things around that. No, I want to see an expansion of. Everyone loves Watopia. Did you see the Zwift thing? Hey, did you notice Zwift re-institute?
Of course. Yeah.
Good job. So Zwift put out this week was it 6 gifts that explain your Zwift experience or something? Yeah. And it's like, what do you always have to bring to Zwift? And you put someone waving a towel. I'm like, good one. You've got to bring a towel.
Yeah. What do you like to eat after your Zwift sesh? I put a coffee.
I was a coffee. I would put a donut. Or pizza. And everyone's world. Everyone's favourite world?
Yeah. Watopia.
Don't even have to say it. Always going to be Watopia. I mean, people will like other places. Someone said they were from Yorkshire, and they liked Yorkshire because it was local. And I found the same. When I was at London, and I rode around London, which was exactly, I think it was 3 years ago, or 2 years ago to the day.
I know someone whose favourite course is New York. Now go for
the hell?
Yeah.
New York?
New York.
What, because they like to ride solo, obviously, with no one else.
What are you talking about? It's packed all the time.
Only because the course is so short and there's only 3 people on it. Packed. No, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Anyway, back to the topic. Tour de France on Zwift. Well, Tour de France. I think people are understanding that it's not the real Tour de France, and it's not the same as real racing. Yeah. And people are getting less angry with it because it's becoming a little bit more entertaining about how they package it together. So I don't mind it for what it is. This morning we were watching the National Road Series here in Australia, which is now on Zwift. Works all right.
Yeah, they've been doing crit races each. Every
second
month?
Saturday? I think it's every second Saturday.
Every second, yeah.
Brilliant racing. We saw Mark O'Brien win a race the other night in the Senate Series. I think they've changed the drafting algorithm. Sorry, I would have been speaking more normally had I had my coffee.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
It's a $4,000 fucking laptop.
I don't even know why I'm laughing.
So, Mark O'Brien, Horsham boy, took off and won. His power was nuts. He was 370 watts for something like 42 minutes,
Ow.
I think. And the last 2 minutes, I think, was something like 550 or 600. The data was over on Strava. I had a look at it. Holy wow, insane. 5.8 watts per kilo. People might be thinking, as if. No, Marco's legit. He is the real deal. Raced pro for a while, and I would consider him, he's a domestic pro. Still retired probably 4 or 5 times I think, but still just smashes everyone to bits. And he won a race because he took off. Marco will never win a sprint unless he can sprint faster than you. He's a hill climber, but will always attack and try and get away. He did one last attack and it stuck.
Yes.
It never sticks on Zwift. Last minute attacks, like Lionel Sanders a couple of months back on the one of the rides, and that was a Richmond ride, attacked and they couldn't pull him back. Marco attacked, they couldn't pull him back. I reckon they've changed the drafting algorithm without telling us. That's more like real racing, because that happens. You can attack and not pull people back. But on Zwift, the blob effect or the bunch effect was always so great, that a breakaway was really, really hard. Even a double up, two up breakaway, a 3 up breakaway was always hard. The blob would always win. Anyhow, Marco won the other day. Today we saw one of the women on the women's race. Just a brilliant finish.
I missed the end of it. I was watching it all up to the start, and then Maxie had to go for a nap, so I missed the end.
Right, the women's...
Was it Brie Vine?
No. I will have to have a look at the results. Either way,
okay.
I was entertained.
Yes.
Always the same riders up the front too. Always people who know how to ride Zwift, know the draft. Well, I think the draft has changed. I think it's changed.
Okay.
I have to ride it to know. But that begs the question, if they have changed the draft, it changes the game. Someone who's mastered the craft of the previous version.
Well, that was one of the things that I didn't like about it when they changed it last time around. That they changed it. And it also made it harder to do things like the 100k rides and stuff like that too. So I'm hoping that they've adjusted it a bit more. Yeah. Just like the rubber banding effect. We're hoping that's going to get fixed.
It is today.
Okay,
It dropped this morning.
Good. I hope it's fixed, because our group rides haven't been as fun.
However, trainer control via the companion app via Bluetooth doesn't work anymore. They broke that.
Trainer control.
So if you're pairing a smart control trainer via your companion app, it doesn't work anymore. However, and if you're on Apple TV, that's like double the fist, because you can't do like pair with this, and then pair via the companion. You've got to go one or the other. So it's complex.
Okay. Yeah. So we're headed away this weekend for the first time in months. We're hoping to actually ride together. We won't have a rubber band effect, so you're really going to have to look out for me, Orion.
We hope that patch has been installed so we can keep together, and I hope the drafting effect hasn't changed. We will check the algorithm.
Where I sit on your wheel,
We'll check the algorithm. Though that was changed when I once used the air hub on the front of the bike there. The drafting effect was changed. So that was the hub by Michael Freeberg from Perth. It creates more resistance in the front wheel. If you're playing the very long game here on the GPLama channel, you would have seen me use that a couple of times, I think. So it adds resistance in the front wheel, up to 100 watts difference. Now people were thinking, why would you want 100 watts resistance in your front wheel? It's kind of handy. If you're training on bike paths, you can't ride as fast, but you want that extra wattage, it's there. I think the value would have been for that device to be connected to your head unit, for your head unit, to make you do intervals. Like you ride 5 minutes 100 watts, 5 minutes off 100 watts, 5 minutes on 100 watts, 5 minutes off 100 watts.
Plus, you mean plus 100?
Oh yeah, plus 100 watts, yeah. So it does intervals for you, but I don't think it's quite there yet. You had to manually set the wattage it applied resistance for. Long story short, Vaughn and I went for a ride. I set it to, the difference in our FTPs was probably 100 watts at the time, maybe 130, 140 watts difference in our FTPs. I made that up, so I put it on 100. Oh man.
I've never heard so much complaining.
I had a horrible ride. I was telling Vaughn to slow down on the front. Even though I had the draft effect, it still didn't negate the extra wattage I had to be putting out. But I think it also goes to show that you're riding around, and they have a study on this, that the women's pro racers, they ride harder because their races are shorter, so they ride harder. Obviously, like a criterium, you race harder. So you ride around probably more often closer to your FTP or above it than someone like I would.
Yes,
definitely. That was proof at the time. God, I could not keep up. For me, when I was on form racing, it was about when you were on FTP, you were on, and you just went on for the duration you needed to be, and that was probably no more than half an hour for most of the championship races that I was doing. Longer stuff, sure, but even hill climbs. I think the longest hill climb we ever did in a race was, Tauranga Gap's only 25 minutes, or 22 going fast, 21. Obviously, it's a 3-hour race, but when you're going hard, it's only 20 minutes. Hotham's a 30-kilometre climb, but you were never over FTP the whole way.
No.
Or never even on FTP the whole way.
There's a lot of on and off and descent,
So, anyway.
Speaking of...
never needed to ride hard, that's my theory.
Riding outside versus riding inside, what I really noticed when I went for a ride outside this month was that I got to freewheel.
Oh, isn't it nice? Isn't freewheeling amazing?
Oh my god, it's so lovely.
It's like free money. It's like,
why can't you freewheel on Zwift anymore? Like, it's been a long time since they changed their algorithm. That was the other thing, because you used to be able to do 100Ks on Zwift.
Yeah.
You do that ride where you join on, because there's a few rides that do 100Ks as part of a group ride. And you used to be able to sit in the bunch, and when there was a little bit of a dip in the road, you could freewheel.
You're talking a long time ago. So the reason why that was changed is because to move around the bunch was really hard. You can't position yourself on Zwift. It's a bit of a lottery. It's a washing machine.
Yeah.
0 watts applies a small amount of braking to your avatar.
Yeah, that's new.
Yeah, well, by new, it's been around for probably 4 years now. You're old. But yeah, you are right. And that's even at the Nocturne, a couple of years back when I was in London, watching the racing there, because we were racing, Zwift racing with CVR, flat out, Zwift, racing hard, you know, the 20-minute races, half-hour races, 1-hour races. And it burns you out real quick if you don't properly respect the efforts that you're doing. I think, I've only ridden for half an hour, who cares? Holy wow, you can dig yourself a hole. Long story short, though I should keep the stories long, watching the people at the Nocturne cruising at the back, I'm like, I missed that.
Yeah.
They're just sitting on, doing up their shoe, having a drink, just chilling.
Getting ready for their next attack or whatever.
Correct,
yeah.
or teammates off the front. Hey, I don't have to work now, teammates off the front, I'm sitting in the back. You've still got to pedal out of the corners, but you're getting pulled along. There needs to be more of that. Even the test mode, demo mode, I don't know. It doesn't have to be this or that. It can be both.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to feel the freedom of riding a bike, not riding an ergo.
Yeah. And I have to admit though, like, I've been very spoilt being able to ride the kicker bike, because that gives you the tilt in the saddle, and maybe. And speaking to a lot of new Zwifters that have come on board with lockdown, they're like, oh wow, I've been riding so much indoors now. And they've leveled up quite quickly in Zwift. But they hadn't realised how intense it was. Like you just said, they've got to respect the effort. And they will probably drop off from Zwift now. That's the other thing. Like, they're happy that they've had their time indoors. Yep. But I'm hoping that that's left them with a good experience, or that they will come back in the next winter or the next period where they've got to consider that they need to be riding indoors, if it's say from an injury or something like that as well. Yeah. So
it's equipped people with the tools to ride indoors. Yeah. If they would like to, and we've always had that, because from day 0, I think, with time trialing, to get your uninterrupted 10-minute course replication in the middle of Melbourne, you ain't going to do it. We were indoors.
Why do you say 10 minute? You mean for an uninterrupted?
For an interval. Yeah, sorry, for an interval. Yeah. Okay. So for me, the reason why I say 10 minutes, that's even further. I was doing 5x5. My go-to bread and butter interval session to be fast at time trials, as fast as I could be at time trials, 5x5, done. You were done. I tell you what, if I could have the motivation to get up every morning and do 5x5 at the best of my ability, I'd be flying again. Most people would be flying it. That kind of structure.
That's some good structure.
That's it. Most people, you throw structure at them who haven't had structure, and they'll improve. That's how it goes. So the reason why I said 10 minutes is because a lot of the longer time trials, I don't think I'd ever do a 20-minute effort indoors, not a steady state. It'd be an over and under.
I thought of something else that I wanted to tell you about. I did one of those Les Mills workouts the other day on the kicker bike, and they've got these new things called like the trip. So
you've got an access to Les Mills this month because one of your osteo places gave you a subscription to Les Mills?
No, my Pilates. At the local aquatic centre.
There you go. Yep.
They had no classes.
Could have 40 stages bikes.
Yes. So they offered a free Les Mills membership for the month. Yep. And I thought I would check out some of their spin sessions that they had. I didn't end up doing any of the spin sessions. What I did see was these new concept thing that they had released called the Trip, and there's multiple numbers, like 16, 17, 18 of them, and it provides a visual experience of different worlds or virtual realities.
Shot at Burning Man? What kind of trip are we talking here?
Literally.
Okay, right, yeah. Les
So
Mills
one
on
of
the
them-
pills. There's pills? There we go.
One of them was like
What
a
kind of
roller
training? Oh, it's
coaster.
LSD training. All right. Yeah.
I've got to say though, because we've got our bikes quite close to a big screen TV, seeing it go up and down, I'm the nauseous one. So anytime I'm on a roller coaster or something like that, I can't do any spinning stuff because it just bleh. I'm like, nah.
Wendell, yeah.
Yeah. The motion sickness gets me. Same things with those first-person shooter games like Grand Theft Auto.
You used to be a pretty mean Quake 3 player, though.
Yeah. So that was good fun, but a whole new experience because you could adjust the resistance like a spin bike with the kicker bike.
Using gears, yeah.
But what was weird, I tried to then, with the other hand, do the up and down
On the tilt?
to
Yeah.
match the roller coaster,
Oh, God.
and I was just like, "What?"
I heard from the other room a noise that I've never heard from before. I mean, I've heard when you've like gone for a sprint and you were totally like, or like you've sworn because you got to drop out or something like that. I heard this, I'm like, fine. Are you okay in there? Like what? Huh?
You're having fun.
Yeah. What's? So that's what that was about.
Yeah. So I'd be interested to see if anyone else has tried out those Les Mills ones. Maybe not with the kicker bike, but what their thoughts were on it too.
Alrighty, Les Mills. Speaking of televisions, we had our television mounted on the wall this week. Now, we're well off topic of sports tech here, but we will be possibly putting them... I mean, the spin bikes could just go into that room if we get upgrade the telly.
Yeah.
So I've got two televisions on the wall. Now, I highly recommend, if you've got a television on a tripod or a stand, put them on the wall. Put them on the wall. I save so much space in the Lama lab by putting two televisions on the wall with fully articulated screens so we can pull them around. Fantastic. For the family room, I wasn't going to risk it myself because the installation in the Lama lab took a longer time than what I thought. So, called in the expert. This guy comes around. I tell you what, like when you have a good tradie experience, it is so good. This guy comes around. G'day guys, how's it? He was there within 24 hours. Blah, blah, blah. That's what he does for work. He's an antenna guy. Looks at the wall and goes, mate, you don't need me. This is 4 screws. So even 3, I'd even get the screws wrong. 3, 4, yeah. 4 screws, mate. Just get yourself a bracket. We're good. I don't even need to be here. Vaughn's gone bright red and gone, for the love of God, do not leave this house and make him do it. Make me do it. And I'm like, mate, do you have brackets with you? You can sleep? I've got some brackets in the car, sure. Like, do you have your tools? Do you want to book it in for tomorrow? He goes, I'll get it done. He was reluctant because he thought I could do it. Dude.
Of course you can.
Of course I'd probably be dead though after drilling through some electrical conduit or something. Anyhow, happy days. He got the television in. We got it up on the wall there. Now we're looking at upgrading the TV. And the reason why is the little guy sleeping in the back too. He's all hands now and he's all on his feet, launching at everything. So.
Climbing.
Yeah, so the research starts again into OLED versus this versus that. There's no hope in hell I'm going to go 8K, 4K probably is what we're going to be going for, don't know. But if all this cycle racing is going to be taking place and we're going to be watching shitty live streams in 360p resolution, I want that on 65 inches of screen. Hopefully, actually, we can't even get Eurosport here in Australia, can we? Because it's through some other... To get Eurosport, we have to pay for this additional service to buy their decoder box to... What junk.
It's not worth it.
No. Unbelievable. So anyway, the TV's up on the wall. Pain cave-wise, get your tellies on the wall. So much neater. So much neater.
It's good.
What else? So Stages Bike reviews hopefully soon. The follow-up of those, given there's the app out and everything. I'm not going to go too hard on the negatives about that.
Any more bikes to come?
Bikes. I still want an SL7 disc.
Me too.
We could have picked them up in Adelaide. What happened during the Tour de France though with the release? I thought Shimano were going to release the new group set of the tour.
Oh.
12-speed road. Wasn't that?
Yeah. Skip.
Oh, hello. Someone's awake. We might have to call it a day. Yeah. 12-speed road was meant to be out. Don't know what's happening there. Why are these GoPros on? Oh, it says 1 hour flat. Okay, I thought it said 11. Okay, we better wrap it up there. But bike-wise, I'm looking for a PowerTap hub. Any old PowerTap hub? No one's selling them. Times have changed. I cannot find a PowerTap hub.
A PowerTap selling them?
Yeah, they're still selling. I don't want to pay full price. I want second hand. I want someone getting rid of them cheap who doesn't ride it anymore. Can't find any second hand ones.
All right.
The reason being is I don't care if it's accurate or not. As long as it's reliable and resistant, consistent, I can use that to compare things when things swing out on the road. And also Di2 for my mechanical bike. I'm done with mechanical. I am done like a dead dog dinner. With mechanical.
I'm surprised you say that. Are you ready? Are you willing now to plug everything in?
Yep.
You're going to go fully electronic?
Yep. Di2. I'll take a Di2, I don't care. I'll take a Dura-Ace, don't care. Mechanical, I go out, and the difference is clunk versus click. Give me click any day. I've been the reason why I've been riding my older bike because it's got the older bottom bracket, or the 24 mil bottom bracket in there to test all the other power meters on. I got on my better bike the other day, and it's just so much nice. Just the click. People with Di2, you know what I'm talking about. You know, it's just so nice. Somebody had a Di2 Dura-Ace pull off a bike group set the other day for, it was $1,200 Australian. And I'm like, oh, I might just hang it. Gone straight away. Someone bought it. I'm like, damn it.
So that would have upgraded your old bike?
Yeah. Still caliper. I'm okay with calipers for that. I mean, obviously I can't change that to disc until I also change the frame. At that point, it's a new bike. So I've got my eye out for an Ultegra or a Dura-Ace group set that someone stripped off a bike. Hey, Clicky. Hey, buddy. And a PowerTap hub.
Well, while you're out there, get me...
You want a new bike?
I would like a new bike. Sure.
Hungry Jacks. Remember, bikes on the roof. We can't drive through.
Okay.
That's all new.
Well, look how big it is out back. Gold mine.
Outback.
The lawnmower centre is getting in lawn mode.
Good
I don't know why I find that funny.
It wasn't even a guy, it's just a dummy on a remote control. You've been had. You've been had. You didn't even look at the other place across the road. The competitor across the road didn't have that. Didn't even know, did you? Okay, we'll leave it there. We're installed. We're near the Grampians. We should go for a hill ride.
Sounds good.
Don't know about that rain though.
Well,
we might just stay indoors.
Maybe on the way back.
We'll see. All right, thanks for watching this one, and we shall see you soon. Thanks, Vaughn.
Thanks.